I want to look not for briefly. I want to look not at the ravaged plains of Ukraine, but at the frosted forests and the watchful border posts of northern Europe, where a new line of tension is slowly taking place. Finland, a state long prized for its neutrality, has become the front line of NATO's northeastern flank. And on the other side of its 1,340-kilometre border, Russia is quietly constructing what looks very much like the next act in its military theatre. This isn't yet a crisis, but it's certainly a signal. Finland joined NATO in 2023, prompted by Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. And this fundamentally reshaped the security architecture of Northern Europe. For Russia, the move was an ideological betrayal and a strategic blow. Suddenly, NATO's frontier was not 100 miles away, it was on their doorstep. And since then, and particularly in recent months, we've witnessed a slow but deliberate militarization of Russia's northwestern borderlines. New satellite imagery reveals over 130 troop tents erected near Kamenka, near St. Petersburg, a base capable now of housing about 2,000 soldiers, armoured vehicle depots appearing in Petrozavodsk, just 160 kilometres from Finland, the renovation of Severomorsk and Olyena air bases, both capable of housing nuclear-capable bombers, and the reappearance of helicopters in Murmansk for the first time in 2 decades. This is not mere posturing. This is a reconstitution of power. And what does it matter? Why does it matter? Firstly, Finland extends NATO's border with Russia by over 800 miles. And this is a new frontier that runs perilously close to key Russian assets, St. Petersburg, the Kola Peninsula, and Murmansk, home of the Northern Fleet and Russia's second strike nuclear capability. Secondly, this build-up is not simply defensive. It reflects the Kremlin preparing for a long-term confrontation with NATO. As Major General Sami Nurmi, Finland's chief of strategy, observed, this is about preparations for the future, a future in which troops withdrawn from Ukraine might not go home but simply pivot north. Thirdly, the Arctic is now in play. Russian deployments further north are not just to escape Ukrainian drones, they are part of a broader push to control Arctic resources and shipping lanes as the ice melts. This is about geography, economy, and power projection. Finland is no passive observer. Since joining NATO, Helsinki has closed its eastern border with Russia in response to hybrid attacks, notably the orchestrated arrival of asylum seekers, completed 35 kilometres of a planned 200-kilometre border fence, complete with sensors, barbed wire and cameras, committed to raise defence spending to 3% of GDP by 2029, ordered 64 F-35 fighter jets, extended reservist mobilisation to the age of 65, aiming for a 1 million person defence force by 2031. And perhaps most revealingly, Finnish civil society is engaging too. Thousands have joined emergency preparation courses, particularly women, learning survival skills, first aid, even firearms use. It's a culture of quiet, stoic readiness. The Defence Minister, Antti Hakanen, put it, if we have excellent capabilities to observe Russian operations, this is no surprise. We are already ready. And the shift has major implications for NATO's northern and eastern flanks. Firstly, it stretches Russian resources. Moscow must now worry not only about Ukraine, but about securing its border with an increasingly well-armed, well-organised Finland. Secondly, it increases the strategic importance of the Nordic-Baltic corridor. If war were to break out in the Baltics, Finland would be critical to any NATO counter-offensive, particularly in cutting off Russia's access to Murmansk. Thirdly, it changes NATO's posture. Drills like Northern Strike 125 with British and Swedish troops in Lapland are designed not just to prepare but to demonstrate. This is alliance cohesion with teeth. Russia is not what it was in 2021. After 3 years of war in Ukraine, it is a battle-hardened, larger force experimenting with new drone and hypersonic technologies. By 2030, NATO may face not an exhausted adversary, but a Soviet-style mass army backed by a brutalized doctrine and extensive reserves. So, is Finland under threat? Not today, but tomorrow. Russia's movements are not dramatic, they are deliberate. This is a chess game with tanks, and Helsinki is playing it with Nordic calm. As Major General Nurmi wisely said, watching developments across the border has been our daily business for hundreds of years. Let's just hope that's what it remains. Business, not battle. But hope, as Finland shows us, must always be matched by preparation.